Hi, I'm Jeremy Crosby.
And I'm Nick Boucher. We're the hosts for the program that's all about your city, Talking Fitchburg.
Every day, we pull together the news, events, and information you need to stay on top of what's happening in the city of Fitchburg.
Find Talking Fitchburg on cable TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and our live stream on the web. Plus, you can view all our headlines and stories on Facebook, YouTube, and our video on demand service. This is your city.
Keep up with Talking Fitchburg and the issues that affect you and your neighbors.
Want to know what's happening in your city? Get Notify Me messages from the City of Fitchburg. Visit fitchburgwi.gov on your computer or mobile device and select the big Notify Me button on the left. Enter your email and/or phone number, whichever is best for you to get notifications. Scroll down the list and select all the topics you're interested in to receive email or text messages about. You'll be notified every time one of your topics is updated. Sign up for Notify Me, one more way to keep up with your Fitchburg government.
I can go. I call to order the meeting of the Finance Committee on November 12th, 2024 at 6 p.m. First item of business is the approval of minutes. I need a motion on the draft minutes of the Finance Committee on October 22nd, 2024.
I'll move approval.
Motion to approve by Alder Jetzer. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next item of business is public appearances for non-agenda items. There is nobody online and there's nobody in chambers, so we can move on to item 4, Finance Director Report, which includes our Treasurer's Report as of September 30th, 2024. Misty?
Thank you. So yes, included in the packet is that most recent Treasurer's Report. I have a couple of notes from the City Treasurer for your information. First, there were 2 CDs in the WISC account that were matured in September and reinvested in October. So you'll see that kind of crossing the months. And then we had a CD mature at Wisconsin Bank and Trust that we reinvested in September. And last is for TID 18, which is the city's most recent new TID. We did have to increase the advance in order to continue to cover those costs for the TID. That is completely normal during the first couple years of a TID being created because the increment hasn't been generated yet, but that advance did increase a little bit in September. So I'll pause for a second before I move on.
I noticed the transit fund jumped significantly. What is that about?
Yeah, we got the aid from the state.
Okay.
I can go.
Excellent. Worked with Ellers to determine if we should be refunding any of our debt if we could get better rates. After that analysis, it was determined that it's not worth it at this point, but something we'll continue to look at every year. Also working with Ellers in the near future to review our financial policies, make sure they're current with best practices. That will obviously come to you guys and the council once we get to that recommendation, probably in the next few months. Audit preliminary field work is coming up in just a couple of weeks, so we're getting ready for that. And then tax roll numbers are starting to come through. So I have some stats for you for the ones that have come through. So the percentages I'm going to give you and the dollar amount increases are based on the average home just for that particular line of the tax bill. So I don't have yet the county. I don't have the first dollar credit, the lottery credit, or the school levy credit. So those are still kind of coming in. But the ones I do have, Verona School District is going up 3.8% on the average home, or $193. Oregon School District, 11%, $453. Madison School District, 6.7%, $279. MATC, 5.5%, or $16. And then, of course, we have to officially pass our budget yet tonight, but considering there's no amendments that impact levy, the city's portion will go up 3.4%, or $86. So numbers are starting to come in. We're starting to work with the county to kind of do all of the calculations, get the software ready to go, all of that stuff, because that will be here before we know it. And then the last thing I wanted to share, so at the end of every finance team meeting, we end with tell me something good. One of the things from this last meeting that I thought I would share with all of you is, Robert, he's been here a couple of times on my behalf. He earned his CPFO. So he passed his last test just this last week. That's 7 tests that he had to study for and then pass to demonstrate his knowledge in this area. And there's only 15 of us in the state of Wisconsin.
Whoa.
So welcome him to a very elite group.
What does that stand for?
Certified Public Finance Officer.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a CPA, but for local government.
Wow, congratulations to Robert. That's incredible. Any questions on that? Thanks for the update. We can go ahead and move on to item 5, review of bills. 5A, detailed review of checks for $10,000 and above for October 16th to the 31st, 2024, totaling $1,182,059.88. Comments, questions? 5B, detailed review of all checks issued, checks 127664 to 127736 from October 16 to 31, 2024, totaling $1,293,674.41. Anything from the committee? Seeing none, moving on to 5C, detailed review of all ACH payments for $10,000 and above for October 1st to 31st, 2024, totaling $745,382.45. Anything? Seeing none, we can move on to 5D, detailed review of all ACH payments from October 1st to 31st, 2024, totaling $753,449.66. Seeing nothing from the committee, we can move on to item 6, action items. 6A, I'd like a motion on Resolution R-18424, authorizing a contract with MSA Professional Services, Inc. for Fitchburg Bicycle and Pedestrian Plan Update.
I move approval.
Motion to approve by Alder Wheeler. And who is going to tackle this item?
I guess I will. I don't know, is this a
right.
thing? The bike and ped update? Do you know that one? Thanks, Chad.
Good evening, everyone. Apologize for the delay in getting up here, but the Common Council had set aside some funding, I believe, through the ARPA TID investment plan process that would allow us to update the bike and pedestrian plan. And this went out for bid on one prior occasion beforehand and did not receive any submitted bids. Staff took a look at the RFP requirements, made some adjustments after consulting with a few firms that may have some interest but yet did not bid previously, and ultimately I think MSA may have been our only bid on this the second time around. So they meet the qualifications. We've worked with them in the past, and staff would like to move forward with the update using MSA.
Wonderful. And just for point of public clarification, ARPA TID money is the American Rescue Plan Act, which is federal funds, and TID is tax increment district closure money, which is money that is coming back after the closure of a TID, which is one-time money. So sometimes we get a question of why not use the $25,000 for staff, for hiring staff, and can you explain why that's not possible?
Sure. As you mentioned, this is one-time money. Hiring staff with one-time money would create a budgetary problem because the one-time money is literally one time. It runs out pretty quick. And ideally, when we hire staff, they are here for the long haul, carrying out the service that they were intended to hire. So that's wherein the problem lies with using one-time money to try to fund staff. The city staff and Common Council have admirably avoided doing that because it is a bad budgeting practice, and we do not wish to begin doing that.
Great. Thank you. Anything else from the committee? Seeing nothing, we can take it to a vote. All in favor of Resolution R-18424, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Moving on to action item 6B, I'll need a motion on Resolution R-18624, purchase of software interface for analytical data program for police department.
I move approval.
Motion to approve by Alder Jetzer, and our Deputy Chief is here to give us an intro.
Yes, thank you very much. So we've had the opportunity to be offered a 6-month free trial for a data analysis software program called Force Metrics. We'd like to do a budget amendment to take approximately $8,100 from our disability fund to purchase the CAD interface, which is separate from the costs associated with Force Metrics. It allows our Central Square CAD through the county to talk with the software program, and they're not going to give it to us for free on their end, so we're requesting this budget amendment.
Wonderful. What would this new Force Metrics software, I mean, obviously you have to do the trial, so you're going to see what the benefits are by actually doing it.
Sure.
But in theory, what benefit would it have?
In theory, what it would provide is a lot of times when we're analyzing data, and we've, in the police department, have been trying to find better ways to increase the efficiency of our data analysis, from crime trends to link chains to real-time crime information. What Force Metrics will provide, hopefully, is that real-time crime information for officers going to a particular incident. If they have information regarding somebody wearing a red sweater, they'll be able to type into Force Metrics red sweater and then see closely linked associations with that particular item. It'll also provide them with a little bit quicker response on crime trends in particular neighborhoods. It just provides what our data analyst does through MPSIS in just a much faster response time, and that officers will have that information much quicker.
Go ahead, Bill.
Does this tie into your record management system at all?
So what it does is it's a separate software that analyzes all of our records management, all of our current police records, and it will mine that information and provide us with statistical analysis, data analysis of where, if we were to query thefts of autos, it'll show us where all of those are occurring in much more rapid response time, as opposed to waiting for our data analysts to get us the information every time we request it. So it's much faster. Right now, our RMS system is just that. It's just a records management system. It does not do any sort of data analysis.
Yeah, so that Herculean effort you went through a couple weeks ago will now be a lot easier?
Ideally.
Okay.
Correct. And hopefully we'll find that out. In a utopian world, what we would have is we would have all of our Dane County law enforcement partners sign on to this same software and collectively dump all of our records management system information into one place, so that we could share all of this data across the county. However, we're not going to get there quite yet.
Any other questions?
How much does the actual program cost? You got
So the first year is obviously a little bit more. I believe it's in the ballpark of $67,000. Over a 3-year period, it is approximately $157,000. We did recently apply for a small and rural violent crime reduction grant, which would offset some of the total costs for Force Metrics. However, we were not awarded that grant. It was also going to hopefully bring our social worker on as a full-time social worker for the police department. However, we do have another congressional earmark request out there through Polkan's office, and so hopefully we'll hear something back on that, which would pay for the entire cost of this software for a 3-year period.
Okay. And if it's what I'm thinking about, you can type in an address and it gives you the history of
Correct.
the address. So
now, to a certain extent, we're able to do that with our records management system right now, but it would not go into the data mining area, where if we had a call about a bumper sticker on a vehicle that left the area. We could go into Force Metrics and type very similar worded information in there, and instead of us going line by line through all of our reports, it would be able to search all of that information for us.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep.
Wonderful. Look forward to seeing how it works out for you guys. I hope it's
both.
helpful. We can take it to a vote if there's nothing else. Bill? All in favor of Resolution R-186-24, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thanks so much. Next item is 6C. I'll need a motion on Resolution R-188-24, authorizing rejection of the snowplow and truck equipment bid.
I move approval.
Motion to approve by Alder Wheeler, and I believe our Public Works Director is going to take this one.
Thank you. The 2023 capital plow equipment budget included funding for purchase of the plow truck, snow plow, and truck equipment. The purchase of a 2025 International was approved by Resolution R-136-23, with the snow plow and equipment to be bid separately. After purchase of the chassis, the remaining funds in the budget are approximately $62,500 to purchase the needed snowplow wing and equipment. Advertisement for bids was placed in the Wisconsin State Journal on September 25th, 2024 and October 2nd, 2024, with the bid documents and specifications were also placed on questcdn.coms with bids due October 9th, 2024. One bid was received by Madison Truck Equipment with a base bid of $182,766, which was substantially greater than the remaining available funds. Staff's recommendations is to reject the bid and rebid at a later date after revising the current specifications. So we're looking for council to reject the bid received for the snowplow and truck equipment from Madison Truck and Equipment.
Thanks, Tim. That is a pretty crazy bid over budget. It's pretty wild. So hopefully with the rebid, something else can come in lower. So sorry we have to go through this. How is this going to affect snowplowing come winter?
Snowplow operations will remain as they were last year. We still have the replacement truck, so we can utilize that until we go back out to rebid and have the chassis and equipment put together.
Great. Jim?
Just a note. I mean, I'm just looking at a license plate bracket on the tailgate, $460. I mean, would that be normal to put a bracket on the truck for a license plate?
That I would have to compare that to our previous bid, but that does seem high, as with the rest of their bid.
Yeah. I'll also just say as a side note that I always get compliments from residents about how great the snow plowing is in Fitchburg. And especially when people compare it when they drive into the city of Madison. Sorry, Madison. But when they drive into the city of Madison, they're like, oh, wow, Fitchburg's really great. So anyway, in case you haven't heard that enough, everyone really appreciates the snow plowing that your team does. They do a great job. And I hear my fellow council members agree in agreement with that assessment. Yeah. All right, seeing no more questions, we can take it to a vote. All in favor of Resolution R-188-24, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Moving on to our next item, I'll need a motion on Resolution R-190-24, amending the 2024 general fund budget, additional hours for community center LTE attendance.
I move approval.
Motion to approve by Alder Jetzer. And is our Parks Director going to take this one?
I can, yep. This is actually a budget amendment request to add 100 hours to our seasonal LTE community center attendant position. And it's really a result of the community center being rented a little bit more than we anticipated this year. And actually it will be a budget amendment of $1,750, which will be covered by the rental fee for the for the community center room. So it's just kind of moving the money from the money received to the money that we need. And a note too is that community center attendant is the person that we hire when the community center is rented. This attendant will open the community center, welcome the customer to the community center, be there if there's any assistance needed, and then secure the building when the rental is concluded.
Great. Questions from the committee?
Glad
Great.
it's being used.
Yeah, exactly. Great. Really exciting to hear that we're using it so much. We need more staff. Is this
And if I might, maybe just a bit of information. I was kind of curious. I took a look at the revenues that have been collected for the services that we've been receiving for the Diamond and Shelter rentals, which is athletic fields, ball diamonds, and the shelters, community center rentals, and recreational fees that are collected. Last year at this time, the department collected about $260,000, and this year at the same time we're at about $255,000. So it's pretty close to last year. So we're pretty happy with that.
Wonderful. Seeing no other questions, we can take it to a vote. All in favor of Resolution R 19024, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Let me just pull up my agenda. We can move on to item 7, announcements. Our next finance meeting will be November 26th, 2024. Any other announcements? I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Alder Jetzer. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We are adjourned at 6:20 p.m. Thanks.